Hello my dear students, good afternoon to all of you. This is Dr. Anisha from Sri Chaitanya Educational Institutions. Welcome you all to our another session for SCORE classes. So I hope all of you are having a very good time. All of you are preparing very well for your studies, for your exams. So here we are again. Today we have a very different topic to discuss. See, all these students, we all know that we make many mistakes during the NEET examinations. But during NEET examinations, at the time of exam, what all problems we usually face, what all difficulties we usually face, or what is actual scenario, what happens to a student's mind during NEET examination is very important. So really, that is a very difficult time during the examination. We need to control our emotions, we need to control the pressure, we need to control our stress and anxiety. And only then we can perform well for the exam. So through this SCORE, what we are trying to do here, through our SCORE examination, we are providing you similar kind of environment for your NEET examination. As a result, you are facing the NEET examination before the actual NEET examination. So we are almost like providing you the environment of a real NEET exam through our SCORE exams. So here we are going to see today our topic of discussion will be what all difficulties or what all problems we face, what are the major mistakes we make during the NEET examination, and how SCORE is going to provide you some help and make your examination much more better than you expect. So here we are, today we are going to discuss our most important topic, the top mistakes NEET aspirants make during the examination and what all we can do by our SCORE examination to fix them. We are here again, students, so let's start our discussion. So before that, we are starting with the SCORE journey. So SCORE is the most, or we can say the biggest examination platform for all the talented students like you. So I would ask you all, if you have not registered, immediately register for the SCORE examination so that you can avail the best offers from Sri Chaitanya Educational Institution. So SCORE exams is not going to help you for the NEET examination preparation, but it is also providing you similar type of environment, similar type of strategies, how you are going to deal the actual exam scenario through these SCORE exams. Alright, so when is this SCORE examination? As we all know, there are two dates given, that is the 28th and 12th of October, 20th September and the 12th of October, for which we have different types of dates and different registration dates. Whatever is suitable for your cities will be provided to you. There are different patterns. For NEET pattern, there is physics, chemistry, zoology, botany. We have discussed the topics. We have given you the information regarding the different types of subjects, topics and the questions that you can get during the examination. But today, we are going to discuss a very important topic, and that important part is how the SCORE is going to improve our NEET score. That is the most important part. Why we should take up this test or how it is going to improve the score. This discussion is very important. Why? Because we all know that during the examination many things are going around in our head. But what is the most important thing that is going to be there in the examination? Our mental stress, or how we deal with each question, or how we can come out of any difficulty at the time of examination. So today we are going to discuss about the common mistakes during the examination. What are common mistakes we are going to face during the examination? The most important points to remember for the exams, other than the studies, it is not for the studies purpose, or we are not discussing the syllabus here. We are here to remember the important points while we are attending our exams. Points to remember for any examination you must remember. How to plan for the exams, the time management, the strategies, the subject we choose at first to fill the OMR, all these, and study hacks like how we attempt the questions, how we answer the question, how we fill the OMR for this exam. So this is how we are going to help you by taking up the SCORE exam. So SCORE exam is here not only for the NEET preparation, but it is also a mock test for your actual NEET examination. So let's move on, students. We are finding out here what all things are there we are going to discuss for today. Problems faced during the actual NEET examination. So there are many problems that we are going to see today. Many problems related to the OMR filling, to the subject timing, time management, the syllabus, the chapter, as well as many other things that you may not even interpret that it is going to come. There are many things you may think that it is easy to handle, because for you, NEET examination is right now all about the questions and answers. Your prime focus is finishing the syllabus, revising the syllabus and answering the question. But remember, my students, these are not just the points you need to remember for the NEET examination. NEET exam is allowing you to become a doctor. And in a doctor's life, it is not just the examination, the syllabus and the answers. It is much more than the syllabus, the topic and the subject. It is about saving lives, it is about handling the stress, and it is also about managing the time. See, in the emergency unit of a hospital, you may have seen how the doctors rush to save a patient. That is where the time plays the major role. There, the doctor is not present to remember the disease or remember the condition. There, he has to remember it, immediately implement it, and immediately has to save the lives. So becoming a doctor is not an easy task, and that's what NEET tells you. It is not just about the studies, it is not just about the subject, the revision and the syllabus. It is also about the time management, how you handle the stress, how you handle the time, as well as the whole environment. It is everything included. So we are here today to discuss all the problems that you may face during the actual NEET examination and how you cope up with that. What are the tricks to come out of these problems during the examination? So here, the top mistakes all of the students or most of the students tend to make during the actual examinations. Yes, the first one, you're very right, poor time allocation. Spending too much time on tough questions, the difficult questions, and what are the methods to follow them. So the important part is poor time allocation. Poor time allocation means, suppose you got a very difficult question, you are thinking, and imagine if you get a difficult question at the first or second question itself. You started solving biology, you started solving chemistry or physics or whatever chapter, whatever topic it is. The first, second, third questions are too tough for you. You're not able to answer it, or maybe you're not able to get through it. So what do? You keep thinking, you get nervous, you start panicking, what will we do, or what should I do, or what to do next. And in that panic, in that stress, you may disturb rest of the other questions also which you actually know the answer. So first that, what you need to do to come out of such kind of problems. First, follow the round method. Follow the round method. This is the most crucial part. So students, remember, listen to this very, very carefully. Whenever you are starting to answer the questions, take 2 to 3 rounds, at least minimum 3 rounds should be there. Why 3 rounds? The first round, solve all the easy ones. Suppose you got first, second, third questions too tough. Maybe the fourth one is little easier. Maybe the fifth one is very easy. Maybe the sixth one, seventh one, you just see and say the answer. So that can also happen. So what you need to do? On the first round, just at the glance, answer all the questions. That is for all the easy answers. Take a second round and solve the medium level difficulty of the questions. Take the third round. Now you start answering those questions that you have left earlier. So like that, take rounds in solving the questions. Do not try to attempt all the questions at the same time. You are not able to answer the question number 2. Go on to the third, fourth, fifth, whatever you can. Do not stuck yourself in the second question for a very, very long time. That is the most crucial part. It will drain you completely, as well as it is going to take much of your time than you have expected. So the first one is the first round, solve all the easy ones. In the second round, the medium ones, and in the third round, the most difficult ones. Okay? Now we are moving on to the second part. So which all other parts are there, which all difficulties a NEET aspirant can face? The second one is misreading the questions. See, this is a very, very common mistake most of the students make, or in fact, in our normal test series, we have seen all the students one or the other time make these mistakes. Now, what are these? Misreading the question. Suppose a question is there, which one is not the answer. Many students do not read the not part, or maybe leave the exception part, or maybe the incorrect word. These are the words that are commonly written in bold letters, but still students tend to forget them, or maybe they just don't read them properly. Maybe due to nervousness, due to stress, many other things are there at the time of examination. We don't know exactly what happens, but students may forget these words. So what happens as a result? Instead of incorrect, you opt for the correct answer. Instead of accept, you incorrectly answer the other one. So in such cases, these key words should not be missed. So what is the solution for this problem? The only solution for this problem is underline these words. If somewhere not correct is written, boldly, darkly, underline it, not correct. Similarly with the incorrect, these are the three important keywords that normally students forget: the not, incorrect, and the except one. So underline the word not, underline the word incorrect, and underline the word except, so that you will see it visually present in front of your eyes. And many times when you see them, when you read the question, this is the underlined part, you may get the correct answer at the same time. So this is a very, very important point. You need to read them correctly. If it is not, incorrect, or except that is written, you have to write them very, very carefully. Okay. Now moving on to the third point, which is another very, very important one. Marking the wrong question number. See, this is a very dangerous mistake. And if this mistake happens, you will regret it for a very long time, even after the exam, even after the results also. Why? Because you knew the answer, but still you forgot the answer, or maybe you knew the answer but just could not get the answer. Instead, you got the minus negative marking also. You lost your actual marks and you lost the negative marking marks also. So that is a very major mistake, marking the wrong question number. So marking the wrong question number, why that usually happens? The wrong question number marking usually happens because sometimes you read the question number 1 as a 2 or maybe 5 as a 6. Something happens, and as a result of which the mismatch of the answering happens. And if that happens, that is one of the deadliest mistake you can make. So what you can do about it? So the problem or the solution is very, very simple. You need not worry. The problem is, first calm yourself down. Because if you are anxious, if you are thinking too much, you may make such kind of mistakes. Such kind of mistakes are not the result that you didn't know the answer, or you did not study properly, or it is out of syllabus. No. The reason is you were not in your senses at that time. You were not calm enough for your answers. So for that, what you have to do? You just need to fixed marking pattern. See, this is a very important pattern of examination. While you answer your OMR sheets or while you answer the questions, you have to have a proper marking. For example, question number 1 to 10 you have solved. Question number 1 to 10 if you have solved, now put those answers immediately to your OMRs. And then from 11 to 20 if you have solved, put that in your OMR. Many students, what they do, they start putting all these subjects answer at one time. For example, physics, all 45 questions they are trying to fill the OMR at one time. All the chemistry questions they are trying to fill it at one time. Same with the biology also. And what else other people do? Some people even put all the 180 questions together at one time. Now that will attract more number of mistakes. Why? Larger the numbers, more is the probability of the mistakes. If 180 questions are there, higher chances of mistakes are there in the bubbling. That is called bubbling error. So if you take a lesser number of questions, if you take 10 questions, less probability. Similarly, if you take 5 questions, lesser probability. So lesser the number you are putting on a OMR sheet at one time, lesser is the probability for the mistakes or bubbling error. So that is how you eliminate the mistakes of bubbling error or marking the OMR sheet. That is how you eliminate. Take small segments of questions and answer them accordingly in the OMR. Only then you can answer them correctly. Okay? So during the mock test or with the real answer, the only thing you need to remember, mark after every 5 to 10 questions. Take a set of 5 to 10 questions, mark the answers and then move on to the next set of questions. Only then it will eliminate your problem. Otherwise, larger the number you try to move on to the OMR at one time, higher number of mistakes there are chances to make by you. So that is one of the important point, marking the wrong question number, or also we can call them bubbling error, because OMR we need to darken through the pencils. Those sheets need to be error free if you want a very good result. Okay? Now, as we all know, another most important part, very important part. Now, what is this important part? Thinking. When you are in a examination situation, in this examination situation, you may overthink many of the questions, or you may not get the correct answer at one time. There may be some of the confusion, there may be some of the double thoughts. So that is another very big problem, right? Most of you have faced it. Suppose you have got a question, A, B, C, D, the options are there. You have marked A as the answer. But after moving on to the second and third question, you again think that no, it's not A, it's B the answer. You move on to B and now you are thinking what is the right answer. Whether it is A, whether it is B. You are constantly thinking what to answer, what is it. Now what happens? We say a rule. What is that rule? That is called first instinct trust. That is called as first instinct trust. Always remember, the first answer you have made, 99% of the time that is the correct. Yes, 1% some exceptions are there, but we do not go with the exceptions. What we go through it is first instinct trust. You have to trust your first instinct. Whatever first answer you have made, most of the time that is the correct answer. And if you revisit the question, you change the question second time, third time, fourth time, every other question, every other options you may feel right, but what usually comes right as the first answer that you have made. Okay? So such kind of things, why does it even happen? Because of many of the times confusion are there. Maybe you have not revised that properly, the topic. Such things can happen at the time of examination. So in SCORE, what we are doing here, we are providing you the similar type of environment that will make you sit through that exam environment. And in that environment, you are about to make similar type of mistakes. Suppose you may have made the OMR sheet mistake, you may have made this overthinking mistake, or maybe any other kind of mistakes that we are going to discuss now. So in SCORE examination, we are providing you such similar type of environment so that what happens whenever there is a mistake you are facing, you will learn from it, you will see what all mistakes you are making and why you are making, how you are making, and you will try your level best not to make that mistake in your actual examination. So this is how SCORE is really going to be helpful for your NEET examination. Not only we are preparing for the NEET examination, it is not only about the subject as we have already discussed, it is not only about the subject, it is not only about the syllabus or the questions. It is all about handling the stress, handling the examination at the same time. So when we are handling all of it at the same time, we have to know what we are capable of. If we are unable to handle the stress at this time, we have to increase our potential, we have to have some faith in ourselves, and we need to prove ourselves for our actual exam. Alright? So now moving on to other problems that we usually face. Now, what other problems we usually face other than these? Next problem that we face is time management. It is a very, very crucial and a very difficult problem to handle. Getting stuck on a single question. And that problem usually does not let many of the students complete the question paper. You get a question paper of 180 questions. Now, in the 180 questions, there might be a question which will take your time around 5 to 10 seconds. But there are times when this time limit can get extended. So questions are there which can get completed in 5 to 10 seconds. Questions are there which may take your time up to 1 minute. But how long can we wait? If you are unable to solve a question, should you wait for 30 minutes? No. So what is that time duration? How long should you wait? You should wait only for 1 minute for a question, no matter which subject, which chapter, which topic it is. 1 minute is the maximum time limit for a question. Otherwise, normally for biology questions, it is 30 seconds on an average, and for other subjects, it is 45 seconds to 1 minute. So whatever subject it is, you are supposed to answer it by 1 minute. If some questions has taken 10 to 20 seconds, there will be some questions which will be more than that, but not very long time. It is mostly up to 1 minute, not more than that. Do not stuck yourself for 5 to 6 minutes. Even sometimes we have seen students taking 10 to 20 minutes even. They stick on this one single question for 10 to 20 minutes. So do not do this mistake. Why is that? It is not just consuming your time. It is draining your energy. It is taking all of your effort and all of your confidence. So not just the time you are losing, you are losing your confidence, your effort, your energy, a lot of things. And at that moment of examination, you are not allowed to lose all these things. You need to save these components. So for your further questions, for your further part of the subjects that you are about to solve, you have to save the time and save the energy for rest of the questions. So maximum time that can be allowed for any kind of questions, even if it is the most difficult questions, that is 1 minute. And what if you are unable to solve it in 1 minute also? What are you supposed to do? Will you panic? No. So what we do in this case, we follow the first rule, that is 3 steps. If it is that you are not able to solve in the first, second or even the third round, go for the 4th round or the 5th round. So take rounds while solving the question. Don't expect that you will be able to solve all the question at the first round. Do not even think that you will be able to solve all the questions in the second round also. So if it is a difficult level or even higher difficulty level of question, 3 to 4 rounds can also happen. But what you need to save? You need to save your time, your energy and your patience. You cannot lose them at any cost. Alright? So the most important point of this is getting stuck on a single question is you have to strictly limit to maximum 1 minute per MCQ on the first attempt. Go to the second attempt or the second round, go to the third round, go to the 4th round, that is fine. And ultimately you will be able to solve it. But till then, do not waste 10 to 20 minutes or 30 minutes in that single question itself. Okay? Now, another very, very important point. Now, what is this point? This point is, how can we make another major mistake, that is the negative marking. For example, you are unable to solve the question. You are solving all the MCQs, you are answering the questions, but what happens in that case? When we are answering these questions, when we are solving these questions, at the same time, we also see that you are unable to solve them at the first round, on the second round, on the third round, and then what do? You launch your rocket, you answer it abruptly. You do 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, you do some calculations and God knows from where you hear a sound, that inner voice, that brain thing, something happens to you and immediately you launch an answer, suppose C. But what happens as a result of this, the guesswork? As a result of this guesswork, there happens a negative marking. So this negative marking thing, what happens due to this negative marking? Neglecting the negative marking, another very big mistake. What happens as a result of this negative marking? Due to this negative marking, you lose your marks that you have actually acquired by answering correctly. Because you all know how the marking level of NEET is going on. So it is +4 for the correct answer, -1 for the negative answer. So if you have correctly answered one question, you get 4. And suppose you have made 5 mistakes, you come back to -1 again, because that 4 marks are gone, even an additional -1 mark you have given. So negative marking is as dangerous as anything else in the NEET examination. If you don't know the answer, you can leave it. At least you will not lose the mark that you have gained by the positive answers. But if you attempt it in a wrong way, if you just guess the answer, or if you just think that some inner voice is telling me, some outer world is telling me, or something or the other, you think this is the answer. Do not just think the answer. If you know the answer, answer it. And your studies, your subject, as well as your preparation should be in that way that you should be confident about your answers while you are answering the paper. There are no gap, or there cannot be any excuses for these kind of questions. If you see the question, you know the answer, you mark it. If you see the question, you don't know the answer, come to the second round, third round or fourth round. If you see the question, even after fourth or fifth round of the answering, you are unable to answer it, leave it. Do not guess the answer, because it will attract negative marking. Alright? So, the mistake is blind guessing without eliminating the options. Now, what is this elimination of the options? There are various methods of answering the questions. So, in Sri Chaitanya Educational Institutions, we are going to help you in understanding the options also. In NEET examinations, nowadays what happens, if you see a direct question from the NCERT lines, there are chances that there can be some options which will be outside the questions or outside the NCERT books. So there are no chances that you will always get the answers from the NCERT. There are options which can be out of the book or out of the other parts which you have read. But what you need to do, you need to try to first eliminate down, or you have to focus it to the point like this becomes the most probable answer. The most probable answer A, B, C, D, this becomes the most probable answer. And if you are unable to eliminate your options, if you are unable to guess the answer, whether it is A or B or C or D, you must leave the question. Do not forcefully think that you have to attend all the questions. If you attend all the questions, it's well and good. You're about to get very good rank in the exam. But if you are not able to answer it correctly, it doesn't mean that you have to answer it correctly all the time. You can leave the question without thinking a second time. So yes, you are supposed to leave the question which you have no clue about. Okay? Apply 50-50 elimination before guessing. Leave if unsure after 2 eliminations. Okay? Another point. Now what is this another point? Losing focus midway. Now sometimes what happens when you are under too much of stress, when you are thinking too much of these studies, or you may not have a proper sleep at night, or maybe you have not properly eaten well, you have traveled a lot to reach your center of examination. Many things can be there at the time of examination. So what happens as a result of these? As a result of these problems, there can be situations when too many things are there in your head going on. You may feel sleepy, you may feel drowsy, or sometimes nothing else, you just start dreaming something else. You just start the daydreaming. With the pen and paper in front of your eyes, you start openly daydreaming. You may start thinking about what is happening outside. If it is raining, you start thinking about the rain. If it is too much sunny, you start thinking about the sun. So yes, that is called daydreaming, which is very often or very commonly seen in the exam students. Many times this happens that you have started to write the paper, you have completed some part of it, in the midway you start daydreaming. Why this is very common? This is very common because of the stress level. The brain works in that way that it starts or it tries to relax for some time. If your brain is working too much, if your neurons are activated too much, sometimes it needs a break to form these synapses, to electrify these synapses. So in such conditions, it sometimes takes a break. But if the break is too long, it turns into a daydreaming phase where you sit idly and just go to another world with the pen and paper right in front of your eyes. So what happens in that case? You lose the time. That is the only effect of it. Yes, your brain may get restarted, your brain may get relaxed for some time, but you lose a lot of time. So how to improve that? Energy drops after 1 hour leads to silly mistakes. If daydreaming starts, you start making silly mistakes. Means you know the answer, but you suddenly think, why am I making this instead of A? You start answering B, B instead of C, C instead of D. Silly mistakes happen. So this is the reason behind these silly mistakes. Many of you may feel that yes, I have made a silly mistake. I don't know why I made. This is the reason you made. The initial 1 hour, suppose the examination is of 3 hours. The first hour you have the highest amount of energy and potential, and after 1 hour, 1.5 hours, your brain starts getting exhausted because it has worked too much. And to take a break, you start daydreaming. Taking a break is fine. Just for a 2 to 4 seconds of break is fine. But if it is extended more than that, if it is for a minute or a 2 minute or 3 minute or even a 5 minute, that becomes daydreaming and your brain takes a long time to come back from that phase and become active again. So in that time, if you solve any question in that phase, you are about to make a very bad mistake. So that is called as the silly mistake that you make at this phase of time. How to fix that? Practice full-length 3-hour papers at the same time slot as the real exam. So here in Sri Chaitanya Educational Institutions, we are providing you the score examination and the further test that we conduct, the same environment, the same time limit as we provide you or as you are about to get for your NEET exam. So for your NEET examination, you are going to see a real tough scenario which we are providing you during our score examination. So yes, here the whole Sri Chaitanya team is here to provide you the same environment so that whatever difficulty you face here in this score examination, you do not make it again during your NEET actual examination. So here, this is our most valuable part of the examination. We are providing you the same environment as that of the NEET exam. Alright? So yes, learn from your mistakes and do not make it again. That is the most important part of the mistakes that you are learning. So we are moving on to another part, to our examination score, which is the most valuable and the India's largest scholarship examination for standard 3 to 11th standard, and it is going to provide you the best preparation for your NEET as well as other examinations. So do not miss it. If you have not registered it, register it immediately. Do not delay itself because the examination time is coming nearby. It is in the September and October, 28th September, 12th October. So do not miss the examination. Do not miss the registration deadlines. Do it immediately right now. Alright. So now we are moving on to the another mistake that is there. So this is a very, very common mistake. You all know how food is important. Our brain works only with the food. Our brain, that is our neurons, they only eat glucose. So if they are eating glucose, if you are not providing it food properly, if you skip your meals, if you skip your breakfast, then there is nothing present in your neurons, nothing present in your brain to act upon. So you have to get activated, you have to stay hydrated, you have to stay full so that your brain functions properly. So for the brain to function properly, what all you need? You should not skip the breakfast, no dehydration or any kind of other components. Now what are these important things? See, the thing important over here is, first of all, do not skip any meal, not on the examination day, even the day before also. Day before the examination also, you're not supposed to make any of the meals skipped. Why is that? Because if you skip your meals, then there is a lack of energy, and if there is lack of energy, it is going to affect your brain activity and that will reflect on your examination. So no, there is no skipping of meals. You cannot skip meals like this because you have to have 100% energy provided to your brain. Other than that, sometimes what happens, there are chances when you may get dehydrated. If you are dehydrated, if proper amount of water you have not taken in, so even that can also your thinking ability, that also affects your thinking ability, as well as what else happens, as well as there is a very important point, that is bathroom urgency. We have a very short duration of time, 3 hours, and now in this 3 hours you have to make a lot of decisions, lot of answering, lot of problem solving, a lot of things are there. Now in the bathroom urgency, what happens if in this case of bathroom urgency, you can avoid it in some of the fluidic forms, like you avoid too much of the fluids, stay hydrated but avoid too much of the fluids, avoid caffeinated drinks, especially the tea, coffee like this, because caffeinated drinks makes you more diuretic. So loss of water, all the biology students, you all know about it, that diuresis occurs, loss of water occurs in the form of the urination. So those things can happen if you consume more amount of the caffeinated drinks. So avoid caffeinated drinks, avoid tea or coffee just before the examination, avoid too much of fluids before the examination. Staying hydrated is important, but up to a balance. Too much of water can only make your time more and more wasted. So stay hydrated, stay fit, have a proper meal, have a balanced meal, not on the day of examination, even before that also have a balanced meal, so that you can focus more on your exam, more on answering the questions. Okay. So what is the solution? Light balanced meal before the examination and water sips during the break. Do not drink whole bottle of water. Just sip the water so that you do not get dehydrated. So these are the various points that you can think during the examination. Now another very important point, that is forgetting to review. Now forgetting to review. What is the final answer you have got and what is the answer that you are about to get? Now forgetting to review, not checking marked for review questions due to time mismanagement. Now what happens in this case, or how it even happens? Certain conditions, certain stages are there when you see that you have too much of answers to cover, too much of questions to read, too much of answers to cover. You have taken first, second, third round and still so much of questions are left to answer. Now whatever happened, whatever answers you have created, whatever answers you are about to make in the OMR sheet, what happens to them? In that case, what happens? You just forget to review these questions. What are these review questions? The final answer, not checking the marked answers. The final review answer is, this is the final answer. You need to go through it once again, match all the answers and questions correctly from the OMR directly. We have filled the OMR by stages, 5 questions, 10 questions, 20 questions at a time. And once we are done with all the 180 questions, after that, you need to review these questions to the actual answers or the question paper. Why is that? Because sometimes you make mistakes, sometimes you go through, you think that yes, this is the answer, but you have marked as C, but the answer is D. So in those cases, you need to correct it and you need to fill the answer properly. So before finalizing the OMR sheet, you need to review your answer properly and reserve that last minute for this final check pass. As well as not just the answers, your name, your roll code, your center code, your language code, everything should be completely checked. There should not be any mistakes during all the OMR filling. OMR filling is your utmost priority. You have to do it properly, otherwise the paper may not get checked properly or you may not get the proper result. So that is why this 10 minutes, last 10 minutes, you have to check it properly. All the name, question, answer, as well as the roll number, registration number, everything should be at its place so that you do not miss any of its parts. So here we have the two dates for SCORE examination, that is 28th September and 12th October. Register. If you have not registered for these test dates, immediately I ask all my students to immediately go and register for it, because faster you register, better it will be for you. And the examination centers will be declared according to your cities. So here we have discussed various types of the probabilities, the mistakes we make in the examination, and how the SCORE is going to help you all. SCORE is the India's largest scholarship platform. Only and only for you all, Sri Chaitanya Educational Institutions brings this whole SCORE for you. And I would ask all my students, I would ask all of you, take the most advantage of this test, because this is going to be the biggest exam, the biggest platform, and going to give you the maximum benefit for the NEET as well as other examinations. How to register it? You all know it. Visit the site and definitely register for it. And what all we are going to get? It is a national level scholarship exam for 3rd to 12th grade, and it is present on both online and offline mode. Online as well as offline modes, both of them are available, and it is not only giving you the best opportunity to prepare for your examination, but it is also going to give you the academic talent as well as the marks and scholarship for your preparation. So not just the academic benefit, it is also providing you the scholarship benefit. Alright students, and why should we take it? Why should you all take the SCORE examination? Because it is going to give you the maximum benefit. The scholarship up to 100% can also be provided. Compete with India's brightest students all across India. We are providing this examination. So the brightest of the students are taking part in it, and you will also come to know where you stand, whether you are at the top or anywhere else. So yes, you should take it immediately, along with the cash prizes and various types of other prizes are there for the examination, and different types of recognition, gadgets, rewards are present for your SCORE. Alright, so yes, you all can see how it is so important. Exam dates, another time I remind you all, 28th September, 12th October, and depending on the center we have a different dates. Register before it is too late. I know most of you have already registered it, but those who have not registered it, it is for standard 3rd to 12th grade, 11th grade students. They all must register it, because this is the largest platform going to provide you for the exam. Okay, and do follow us in our other social media channels and various other parts like our Instagram, our YouTube channel, as well as Twitter and the Facebook. Thank you all of you. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best, and immediately register now, because we are here at Sri Chaitanya Educational Institution waiting for you all to prove yourself in the India's largest educational platform. Thank you and all the best.